For months now, Pakistan has been trying to convince the world that India is weaponizing water, that Delhi is violating the Indus Waters Treaty, that 240 million Pakistanis are under threat. But India has now responded with a move that could completely destroy Islamabad's victim narrative. Delhi says that the Indus Water Treaty in its present form is finished, kaput, not put in abeyance, not suspended temporarily, not waiting to be restored, finished. If Pakistan wants the treaty back, it won't get the old one. It will have to negotiate a completely new framework. So has India just pulled the rug from under Asim Munir's biggest diplomatic campaign? Why does Delhi believe Pakistan can no longer play the victim? And what does this mean for India's water strategy going forward? For 6 decades, the Indus Water Treaty was one thing that both India and Pakistan almost never touched. It survived 3 wars, it survived a dozen military crises. It was seen as one agreement that worked no matter how bad things got between the two countries. All of that changed after the Pahalgam attack. On April 22 last year, Pakistan-based terrorists killed 26 civilians in Jammu and Kashmir. The attack was traced to the Resistance Front, a proxy of Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Toiba. India responded with Operation Sindoor, hitting terror infrastructure across the border. But before the kinetic option, India had already dealt the water blow to Pakistan. Delhi put the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. In simple words, India said blood and water cannot flow together and shut down the taps. That one move has rattled Pakistan. The last several months saw Islamabad rushing from global pillar to international post to somehow get the world to intervene, get India to backtrack on its IWT decision. But if anything, India's resolve has become firmer. In an off-the-record briefing to reporters, a senior government source told the Times of India that the Indus Treaty in its current form will not come back, not now, not later. And that's a remarkable statement. India has not announced that it is withdrawing from the treaty. It has not formally terminated it. But Delhi is making one thing absolutely clear. If river sharing arrangements are ever restored, they will have to be under a different framework, not the one signed in 1960. In other words, India isn't talking about reviving the old treaty, it is talking about replacing it. Pakistan has spent months building a narrative that India is weaponizing water, that Pakistan's farmers are suffering because of Delhi, that this amounts to an act of war. India has rejected that argument. India says that Pakistan's biggest water problem is not lack of water, it is poor water management. As per the government, Pakistan receives nearly 80% of the Indus Basin waters under the treaty. Yet, despite that advantage, Islamabad has failed to build adequate large-scale storage infrastructure for decades. Indian officials claim that massive volumes of water are lost every year in Pakistan due to inefficient management and runoff, far more than India's own treaty allocation. In Delhi's view, Pakistan's crisis is not water availability, it's water governance, water storage infrastructure, aging irrigation systems, inefficient water use, and disputes between Pakistan's own provinces over how they share the water that they already receive. In other words, India is saying look inward before you blame Delhi for a crisis you created yourself. Here's India's deeper argument. This isn't only about Pakistan-sponsored cross-border terror. The treaty itself is outdated. It was designed using 1950s engineering and 1950s assumptions. Since then, India's population has grown massively. Its clean energy needs have changed. Climate change has altered glacier melt across the Indus Basin. And India says it repeatedly has been asking Pakistan, even before Pahalgam, Operation Sindoor, and the IWT abeyance, to sit down and modernize these terms. Formal treaty notices were sent to Pakistan in 2023 and again later. Pakistan, of course, dismissed the first notice as vague. It refused to engage on the second one. So India's position is this: any future version of the treaty cannot simply restart the old one. It has to be renegotiated from scratch, and only after Pakistan meets India's terror condition. So where does this go from here? India has not yet exercised the most extreme option, which is walking away from the treaty altogether. Officials say that remains a theoretical possibility though. Delhi argues that no sovereign nation can be forced to remain in an agreement that no longer serves its interests. India also believes Pakistan's continued sponsorship of terror fundamentally undermines the spirit on which the treaty was built. In the meantime, India says it will focus on maximizing its own legitimate rights. That means faster hydropower development, modern river basin management, infrastructure upgrades, and better utilization of water resources within the existing legal space. Several major hydropower projects, including Kiru, Pakaldul, Ratle, Kwar, and Sawalkot, are expected to significantly boost electricity generation over the coming years. So the message from Delhi is no longer about preserving the status quo, it's about rewriting the rules. Whether that eventually leads to a renegotiated treaty or something even more dramatic will depend less on water and far more on whether Pakistan fundamentally changes its approach to cross-border terror. Because for India today, the Indus debate is no longer just about rivers, it's about national security. This is Times Access, where global stories meet India's perspective. Click on the bell icon to subscribe, because the next big global shift will have India at its center.